Good evening, dear friends. My name is Vasily Vasilyev, RN6 LHF, and today we will discuss about Expert SDR3 software. I'll tell you about functions which already finished in it, and I'll show you how it looks for today and what's the next steps in this way of Expert SDR3 software. Good evening all. Let's start. As you know, in 2020 we was announced Expert SDR3 software, and in last year, maybe 1.5 year, we working under new platform. We called it Expert SDR3, and now we have software which has already finished new functions, old functions in new software. Let's see. First, when we start Expert SDR3 software, we can see Device Manager. Device Manager will show you all your devices which available for working. Firstly, it's local devices like a transceiver, receivers which can be used in receiving mode, transmitting mode, and also Expert SDR3 Device Manager will show you your remote devices. Like here, this is we have Colibri DDC receiver in a local network, and at the same time we can see the same Colibri DDC receiver in remote control mode, and the other Colibri Nano receiver also in a remote control mode. We can press start button, and we will start work with it. Also, Device Manager include the main page with your logo, with your call sign and name. Second page, it's remote settings page with the IP address of remote receiver. It's remote server software. Now we can see green mark and it's OK under connection. And third, it's about page about software Expert SDR3 and version 0.10. Okay. For example, we want to use a local receiver, Colibri DDC. We just press start button, and we'll open it, Expert SDR3 software. Device Manager can be minimized to the tray by close button or minimize button. Doesn't matter, because you can close it only from tray. Expert SDR3 for today has the following controls, like start button, RX2 button, RX2 on off button, preamp button, volume control, AGC, or the same as RF control level, switch off, switch on PC sound card, settings button, information button, Expert SDR3 full screen button, and the standard controls, standard indicators like line S-meter. As you see, the S-meter goes to the left side in the Expert SDR3 software, because many customers and many owners of our radios asked us about move it to the left side, because it's a classical position and no problem. Now we can do it because Expert03 software has different different things like skin and core of SDR core. It's different parts of the same software, and we can change skin as we want, and it's easy. And in the Expert SDR2 it's not so easy. Now here is yes. Standard classical frequency scale, frequency lock. As you see, band button. It's just one button with drop-down menu, and now we can see all amateur bands, broadcast bands, transverter bands, because in Expert SDR3 software will support transverter mode. Now you can see 5 bands. Maybe we can add other bands if some customer ask us, but no, just 5. Other general coverage for HF, general coverage for VHF. Next button, it's a mode button with the standard modes like AM, SSB, CW, and Narrow FM. Digital modes buttons. Now for first versions it will be just presettings for receiving and transmitting filters, but I think in the maybe end of next year, 2021, here will be real digital decoders and decoders. Why not? Digital other, it's a standard DIGAL, DIGU buttons, and broadcast buttons like Wide FM and DRM. Just presets. Wide FM is demodulator with the stereo decoder. Okay, read seat step button. AGC now in the Expert is there are 3 just 2 positions, like a fast for CW mode and the normal for other modes, because for all voice operations and digital modes required just long or maybe slow AGC, and 2 positions is enough. Standard DSP buttons, filter with button, and the user position if you just move it. A classical control like in the Expert SDR2 software, just set lower limit by left mouse button, and up limit, high limit by right button of mouse. Control frequency, control zoom in, and control spectrum waterfall parts. And the first which we will do, just press start button, and now you can see radio is works. Just choose now we can hear receiving mode of Calibri DDC receiver. Just 312 kilohertz bandwidth, and now we can receive signals. It's a standard spectrum, standard waterfall. I want to note one thing, that software work faster now. Expert SDR3 should work faster, and for example RX2 can be opened in I think 10-20 milliseconds, but not 1 second or 2 seconds like in the Expert SDR2 software. And now we can open second receiver for other band, for example 80 meters band. It works fast and properly, no problem. Okay, in the I'll switch off second receiver. In the lower part of window, Expert SDR2 3 window, we can see sample rate button. We can change sample rate from 39 up to 312 kilohertz. Indicator of the receiver is available. We can zoom in controls of Expert SDR3 software. For example, we have high resolution display and all controls is too small for your eyes and for your look. You can zoom in and it will comfortable for you. You can zoom out. For example, if you have low resolution displays, and it will comfortable for you also. Now at 100%. Also, control panel has limits in width, and if you use big displays with high resolutions, it will comfortable to use it because Expert SDR3 window use linear dimensions for visualization, for display, for all buttons, controls. In Expert SDR2 software it was made by pixels dimensions, but in the Expert SDR3 it's just in millimeters, and we can adjust it independently for different displays resolutions. And it's modern and it's comfortable for us, and it will be like this. Okay, we can decrease gain. Expert SDR3 software, it's just skin for SDR core, and this SDR core has the same functions like remote control software, and this skin is the same software. Expert SDR3 for local operation and for remote operation, for remote control, has the same functions, the same source code, and it's the same software. Now we have just one Expert SDR3, and we can control local devices, and we can control remote devices. In the device manager you can find other devices for remote control, and we can open it with the same steps. Just press start and will be opened at the same windows with the same functions. It's comfortable because in the Expert SDR2 software and the Expert Remote Control, Expert Remote System, it was different software, and users should open remote control software, open local control software, Expert SDR2, just synchronize it via Expert Sync utility, and it will work. It's not comfortable in the Expert ZR3. It will work under one software, under one window, Expert ZR3. It's interesting. Also, in the Expert ZR3, the main works inside the software. We made a big job inside, and next month I think programmers will work with the internal blocks units just for the interconnections with it, because you know we have many for example audio inputs, like two microphone inputs in the transceivers, mic PC inputs in the from sound card, PC sound card. Also we can get audio signal from VAC, virtual audio cable. We can get audio signal from TCI, our new interface, and the software can get signal, for example, from microphones when you press foot switch button, or foot switch, or max button, or send a signal to COM-part, foot switch COM-part. It will be used microphone signals. But when you send PTT signal to via CAT system, your audio signal will be used from virtual audio cables, maybe from TCI interface, and we have many interconnections and logic connections between different units in different modes, and all this requires a big job, big work with it, and the main stream for our programmers, it's internal blocks and units and controls, and you can see now it's a simple view of Expert ZR3. It's like a simple view for beginners, maybe other words, and after finishing a beginner's view, maybe at the same time will be finished normal view, like in the Expert ZR2 software, because for example it's my favorite view, like in Expert ZR2 software, because all functions you can get in one click, and all functions and control is available. And I think Expert ZR3 will have, I think, maybe three, maybe four skins for working, and I think in the future we can add new skins, because as I said before, Expert ZR3 window, it's just a skin, just button controls, and it can be connected to SDR core of Expert ZR3 software, and it's simple now for us. For example, Expert ZR2 software, it's one like a mana block, just one software, window, core, it's the same, all the same. In Expert ZR3 it's the different parts of one software. Okay, friends, if you have any questions about Expert ZR3, just ask, because we should discuss it. And if you have maybe some wishes about it, you can also type it in the chat, local chat, and we will try to use your wishes in the Expert ZR3 software. Also, all wishes and suggestions you can send to our email, Roman from Expert Electronics. All you know Roman can receive your informations and put it to wish list, info at sunnyzyar.com. Please welcome. For remote work, are there any limits for latency and bandwidth so that you have a similar experience like working locally? For example, minimum 5 megabits upload speed and max 15 milliseconds on the remote side. Thanks. No. Yes, if you used our current remote control system, it requires minimum about 60 kilobits per second traffic speed, and maximum about maybe 2 or 3 megabits per second when you use maximum bandwidth, maximum frames per second of spectrum scope, high resolution of spectrum scope, and if you use IQ stream sending to from remote site to local site, for example for skimmers like SDC software, it requires about 2 megabits per second, maybe 2.5, but minimum speed, it's about 100 kilobits per second, it's enough. My favorite speed, it's about 250 kilobits per second. It's enough for high quality audio, for good picture on your spectrum and waterfall, and it's enough for working. And no problem. Standard 3G or 4G internet connection, it's more than enough. 15 milliseconds also is okay. If you have higher latency, for example hundreds, maybe 500 or second milliseconds delays, remote control system has buffer with which can change buffer size, buffer time, and when you use, for example, normal your latency about maybe 100 milliseconds for 3G connection, and when your internet connection will have higher latency, like a spike up, for example, up to 1 second, buffer will be increased and then slowly will be decreased automatically. When will SDR3 be released for download? I think in end of January, maybe February, it will available for downloading. I think it will be first beta versions for playing, for trying to use, and at the same time will be released remote control for all our devices, and you can use XpertZR3 like a local software for local working, and at the same time you can try it to remote control. Will it have a pre-release version or direct final version, and when will it be? Yes, as I said it just before, it will be pre-release version. I think will be a couple of beta versions before we will release final version. Hi, when the software will be ready to download? What about improvements in NR and APF filters, analog APF filters? NR filters and the APF it's analog peak filters work excellent. Maybe you think about NB filters, noise blankers filters. In the first versions, like now, we have a standard filters like from XpertZR2 software, but we have plans to add new algorithms. Maybe it will be different buttons, maybe a drop-down menu from, for example, from noise blanker button with drop-down menu, and you can choose different algorithms. We'll see. But in the first versions will be standard our DSP functions without any changes, any different. Also, what about the beta testing program? Can we enroll in this program? Yeah, sure. You can, but I think in January, maybe in end of January next month, Expertise 3 will be ready for testing, because programmers ask me don't send any copy of this software to any user, because it's not done. Yes, it's very rare. For example, you can see options menu. There is no any options, just audio output. Choose menu, and you cannot use it normally. Just a begin version, because all main works was made, and now we working in under internal blocks and interconnection between it, and all controls, all main controls is absolute. There is no for example monitoring button, or maybe CW speed or other standard for Expertise 2 software controls, and it's not possible to use it normally. But programmers will add it in next month, and I think first beta versions, maybe alpha versions, will be sent to customers who wants to use it, to test it. And if you want to be a beta tester of the new Expertise 3 software, just ask Roman from EE via email info@sunsdr.com, and he put your contacts to beta tester list, and will send you first versions for control, for playing with it, and you can do that. Okay, I think if you have more questions, please ask me. We'll discuss it. What about beta testers? Yes. As you know, maybe you saw it on our website. We finished assembling of automatic tuner unit for SunSDR 2DX transceiver, and it's already available for ordering from your local dealers, from us directly. And I think I will tell you about it in the next time, next week, and we will discuss it. I'll also inform you about all information which was which we have for next week, about our plans for next year, about conclusions of this year, what was done in 2020. It was hard year, I think, for all us, about Corona, about logistic problems in over the world, but we passed it. I think it was done very well, because programmers worked under Expertise 3 software without any latency, or maybe without any stopping, and it was done well. We finished assembling and we finished manufacturing antenna tuner unit, and we have new interesting accessories. I will tell you about maybe I think next month. We finished and assembled and was manufactured VLAN switch. I said it in the previous streams, as you know, and I also I want to when you work remotely, Expert 3 core will be on the remote PC or will be locally with interface. Thank you. Expert LR3 has local core, DSP core, but for remote control used remote software. It's a special utility. The same view like Expert SDR3 device manager, and the same device manager lines, but without any windows, without any controls. It includes the same DSP core, SDR core, like a normal Expert SDR3 software, and used for processing. And from this utility, all signals like audio, spectrum and waterfall in compressed mode sends to your local site, and you use standard Expert SDR3 software. Like now you can see two devices for remote control with the same functions. The main thing, remote control and the local software Expert SDR3 growing up at the same time with the same functions because it's the same software. Так. Russian questions. Are you planning, I will transcribe you, are you planning to use the same software, Expert SDR3, for MP1 radios? Yes, sure. Да, мы планируем использовать это программное обеспечение для трансиверов MB1. Yes, sure. Expert SDR3 can be used for all our radios. It's like Sun SDR line 2, Sun SDR2 line, Pro, DX, normal Sun SDR2, Sun SDR2 QRP, receivers, Calibri, Nano, DDC, and also MP1 radio can use it. Also, MP1 radio has special skin, all you know. It's MP1 style skin. Maybe it will available for normal operation for other radios. I don't know. So an i3 or i5 with 4 and 8 GB RAM will be enough for the remote PC. Sure, it's enough for remote operation because all main processing will be on remote site without graphical without any windows or drawing, and it's enough. i3, i5 more than. What needs to install on the remote PC for remote SDR3 operation? What needs to install on the remote PC? You should install special remote utility with the same view like a device manager, like now. And it will be, I think it will be the same software maybe. Also you can install Expert SDR3. I think maybe it will be different software, but I think it will be the same. Just start Expert SDR3 on remote site, make settings here, remote settings, and open the same version of Expert SDR3 on your local site, and put here correct IP address. It will works. Also, interesting news, we just finished cloud service for remote operation. You can start remote software on remote site. Just put standard IP address of our cloud, and the same address in your local site, like here also a standard IP address of our remote cloud. Just set your login and password, and you can open your cloud panel, and you can use the same devices like now I use without cloud, but the main difference is you don't think about connection between remote site and local site, because if you have dynamic IP address, if you have other problems from your provider, you don't want to know what is the VPN and other features of administration, network administration. Just use clouds, and if you know how to adjust it, you can use direct settings connection between it. It's interesting, and we have a new our main feature of our cloud service. It's direct traffic connection. You use cloud for first connection, but traffic goes directly from your remote site to your local site. Cloud just for interconnection for first time. It gives you extremely low latency, and gives you gives you fast working in CW, in other operations. It's very interesting, and it's the main difference of our cloud service. It's direct traffic connection. Is it possible? Is it possible to add another tool like OpenSP on Tedis? Yeah, sure. We think about different algorithms of DSP functions, and maybe it will be second and B or another buttons. Maybe it will be a drop-down menu to choose different algorithms. We'll see. But yes. Working remote with Expertise R3 will be transparent for other software like Paytm Contest or SDC, correct? No need for other specific settings. Yes, sure. You can connect SDC or FiveM Contest or other, for example, Swisslog or other loggers and software which supports TCI connection. You can use Expertise R3 software, and normally you cannot see difference between remote and local operation, because you can watch the same window, the same buttons, the same functions, and know any difference between remote or local operations. Maybe one difference when you use SDC for skimmer service like CW, skimmer block, or maybe RTTY or BPSK modes. So skimmers, you can switch on. We called it direct IQ traffic. It's also will be compressed and decompressed on your local site, but it decreased your traffic up to 1 megabits per second. Maybe it will add 1 megabits per second to your traffic. For example, if you set 200 kilobits per second traffic, and you should plus 1 megabits for IQ streaming. But it's okay for remote control, because any LTE modems, 3G, 4G modems, can give you 1 megabits, 2 megabits per second traffic without any issues. Okay. Dear friends, please ask me if you have any questions about Expert SDR3. Now we are opened remote control and local control at the same time. This is Calibri DDC, and this is Calibri Nena. I have some issue from on the remote side and I cannot start it, but you can see that one device manager, one Expert SDR3 software. This device manager includes all DSP processing, or the main DSP core, SDR core based, and here inside in the device manager for simple explanation. And you can open all your devices in the different windows and start a local operation, remote operation. You can see it's the same controls, the same buttons, and it will be in the future also the same. Okay, dear friends, I want to thank you for watching my stream channel. Ask me about any new functions or about Expert SDR3 software in the chat, or maybe in the comments after stopping of the stream. You can type your comments, because on my YouTube channel the stream will be as a normal video. Is there a video step-by-step document to current remote setup? I'm able to connect remotely but not hearing any signals even after tweaking all settings. No video, not, because many different types of internet connection, of interconnection, of VPN connection, many different types of modems, routers, and other things, and we cannot put a video to YouTube channel with all ways and all settings which can be which can you should to make in your case, in your local case. But we have a document, it's a PDF doc, which with all instructions how to adjust it. If you have any issues without it, you can describe your setup, remote setup, local setup, and ask Roman from our company, info@sunsdr.com, info@sunsdr.com, and ask him to help you. Why not? We can support you. We can ask a programmer to study your case, your setup, and gives you any recommendations. Why not? Will do. Thank you. Okay, welcome friends. Thank you for watching my channel. I want to great job. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, all you. Merry Christmas, and we'll wait you on my channel next week. We'll discuss about next features, next plans, and about what's done in this year. Thank you very much. Will you use a new firmware with Expert SDR 3 or is the same as existing now? For first version, for first beta version, it will be old firmware which used for Expert SDR update 8 now, but our programmers working with a new firmware with a full duplex mode. It will be prepared for pre-distortion mode, it will be prepared for transverter mode, and it will has interesting features which will be announced, I think, in maybe next month. We'll discuss about it some later. And it will be used, it will be specially developed for Expert SDR 3 software, because Expert SDR 3 software based on new concept of SDR, a new platform and new concept which allows to use different devices at the same time. For example, you can use your local transceiver for normal operation. At the same time, you can use, for example, remote receiver for remote operation. You can use local other radio, for example, from other antenna, maybe for pre-distortion, maybe for diversity. It's possible to realize it via different device receiver. You can do it with two ADCs on board, like from NN devices, but you can do it also with different device, and Expert SDR 3 allows to use all these features. I think next year will be interesting with new features in Expert SDR 3 software. We'll wait, we'll watch about it. Will possible Merry Christmas from SunSDR 2DX and Pro user 73 Damian. Thank you very much. Also, Merry Christmas. Will be a possibility to that TCI will also be possible in GTDX software? I think yes. Now we have discussion with the GTDX programmers, developers about adding TCI interface to it. I think next month in our plans to send new SunSDR 2DX to programmers of GTDX software, and they place with this radio will put TCI to GTDX software, and at the same time check it how it works with real radio. I think it will comfortable for developers of GTDX software, and it will be very interesting. I think it will be very interesting. Thank you very much again. Merry Christmas, and send your and type your comments to video under this stream. Thank you very much. 73. Here was Vasily, RN6 LHF. See you next month. Merry Christmas.